anyway? Okay. Huh? Welcome once again. This is Uganda at Crossroads. My name is Moses Mukitale, and we are coming to you live from the city of Boston here in Massachusetts. We're sorry for coming to you late a bit, but we had a few issues here and there. Once again, we're bringing to you a discussion that's looking at the future of our country, Uganda. Next year, that's just in a few months away from here, Uganda is going to be having its presidential elections. The country is already getting heated up. The pressure is mounting. Incumbent Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is standing yet again in what could be his probably maybe last time, we don't know, but we are hoping that there will be change in Uganda. He's been in power for the last 35 years, and there had been talk and discussion of whether this could be the last time or this could be the time when he is going to willingly hand over, but he has desired or given his intention to stand again, meaning he might want to take his presidency to 40 years in power. Maybe that could be different this time around. We could see change coming, but who knows? Once again, I have a discussion with my people here in the studios. With me today is Sarah Joy, as usual, from the People Power, and a new face for me, but he's been here on the show before, Herman Aineviona, who is Diaspora Coordinator for People Power. So he is in charge of overseeing all People Power activities in the diaspora. That's a very big title, Herman, and welcome to the show once again. Welcome, Sarah. Greet our viewers, and then we shall start.
Good evening.
Yeah, good morning, good evening.
It must be good morning. In some places, I guess it's
evening.
Evening, in Japan. And some places it's night. So, to all our viewers and for people who enjoy our shows, and for Ugandans who want to see change, how have you been? How was, and to you guys in the studio.
Yeah, Herman, greet our viewers and then we shall start.
Good morning, sir. Actually, this is my first time to chat with you on MPO. I'm used to the other man, David, who is he's very elitist. And elites have been a challenge for us to convince to join our struggle. I hope you're ready. I hope I can call you comrade already. And we move in that direction as opposed to starting from the beginning.
I mean, we shall see. We shall see about that. But again, I would think that every Ugandan who is loving his country is for change. I mean, I represent a generation of Ugandans that has never seen any other president. President Museveni came into power when I was not yet born. So his government is actually 3 years older than me. So I represent a generation of people that want to see change.
Oh, really? Good.
But I'm glad that you're here, Herman, and Sarah again. We have a couple issues, and I hope we can wrap that up all in 1 hour. Okay. And without going any further, Herman, let me start with you.
Yes.
Last week was supposed to have you on the show, but we weren't able to have you. I heard you had People Power activities that you are overseeing outside state. Bring us to speed with what's going on with the fundraising and the different chapters that the National Unity Platform has. Let's talk about USA for now, and then maybe you can talk later about other countries because you oversee the entire diaspora.
Yes. The of the People Power movement is comprised of 34 chapters in total. In the US, we have about 9. We have Boston here, where you are and where Campfire Studios is. Seattle, Chicago, Minnesota, California, Washington, D.C., Florida, Texas. I think those are the ones that come off head. And last week we were in Dallas. You see, I've been talking about this several times. We have 3 roles in this movement, whether you're People Power or not. The roles are organization, sensitization, and mobilization. That's how we classify our roles. All the time we are doing one of the 3, either sensitizing people about you know, what opportunities they can see. I mean, I have a friend who just came from Uganda, came for my wedding actually, and you know, he was while we were traveling through the airports, he noticed what a significant change, especially for people in the diaspora. It's very easy for you to tell the difference of what a good leadership looks like and what an ugly leadership looks like. It tells you, it gives you a difference of how fast a world can be, or a country, how developed it can be, if it's led well, if resources are managed well. He was constantly telling me, oh, you already even, you know, luggage belts are, you know, they stop automatically when there's no luggage. Like simple things, but that are convenient and functional and organized. You know, he's very excited about being able to return things to a store. It's United States policy that, you know, you can buy a cloth and return it if it doesn't work. And these are things that our country, you know, you don't guarantee. I mean, every shop has once goods are sold, they are not refundable. That's why people are able to be ripped off. So there are simple, subtle things that that we strive for. We are not asking for much. You know, people keep defending the incumbent, saying, you know, there's robbery, there's theft in other countries as well. And we say, yes, we know that. But what happens to those thieves as opposed to political opponents? So anyway, our roles are sensitization, the things I just talked about briefly. I'm sensitizing, however boring that could be. Mobilization, we mobilize two things, human resource and financial resource. And organization, which is you know, going to a place and establishing yourself, establishing a leadership there, and establishing a workflow. Is what we do.
And I want to ask you still about the chapters in the different states that we're having. How is the membership? How are people being? Because I was asking Sergio last week, if someone in Boston wants to come for the meetings, let's say in the Boston chapter, where do they have to go? How do they register? How do they get in touch? Is it on, you know, social media? Is it on Facebook? Is there a specific number people can call and say, I live in Boston, I live in Texas, I live in Chicago, I live in Miami. Yeah. Which number do I call?
Yeah, so to reach us, there's one number that either myself or one of the team members, Comrade Michael Kakande, commonly known as Kapalaga Baby, the team leader of the Boston chapter, Dorothy Stewart. But if you want to reach me, if you reach this number, +1 857 719 4451. You can send a message there and say, you know, I'm in Saudi Arabia or I'm in Peru, and we want to start a team here.
You can tell the number again, maybe.
The number is +1 857 719 4451.
4451.
Yes.
So they can call or text a message just in case they want to.
And
it's on WhatsApp, right?
Yeah, it's on WhatsApp as well. You can go to my Facebook page and inbox me. My Facebook page is Hamana Ineviona. You can reach me through there. And also you can go to Bobby Wine's page, which many people follow. If you scroll through his posts about the diaspora, the number is always at the bottom of that page. So you can, at the bottom of his posts about the diaspora.
Yeah,
so
the reason I'm asking that is because, you know, we are just 3 months ahead of the election. And I know the diaspora has a big role and responsibility to play. And I also throw this later to Sarah. Because there are so many Ugandans in the diaspora who would like to be part of the movement, who would like to be part of this, you know, the struggle, and they are willing to give, they are willing to take part in activities, in the meetings, but they still don't know how is it going to be. So at least you've given us the contact, we have the address, the number, so they can text. I hope maybe we shall give this number again towards the end. So let's talk briefly, before again I leave your role as you talked about. Let's talk about fundraising. How far are you going with the fundraising? Do you have any targets that you want to have? Let's say we are looking at getting this much, you know, to help us go through this period. And how can Ugandans give who are in diaspora, maybe even beyond America, maybe in Canada? How can they give?
Okay, that exact number I'll jump straight to the answer. That number I gave for North America, it's on Cash App. You can donate through that. There is a Daniel Oyerot number. There are a few numbers that we use. if you scroll through the principal's page, if you scroll through Bobby Wine's page, you can find those opportunities to give. Our website also, peoplepower.org.ug. It's now, once you load that, it changes to NUP. As you know, we transformed into, they are cropped up a political wing of the movement, NUP, National Unity Platform. So those are the opportunities to give. My brother, I always tell people, and Sarah Joy here, this is where she agrees with me totally. If you want to be part of this movement, my brother, you cannot fail. Chiba kwaso. You understand what I'm saying?
There are some elites, as you talked about, who
want
to be seen anywhere at all. But they just have the money on their account. They're like, I won't even put on the red beret. I don't want to be seen anywhere, putting on red. But they can give $10,000, they can give 20, they can give 30, they can give huge amounts. But
I think our faces, people are very familiar with our faces at this point. That if you say, I am looking, I really want to help, but you guys didn't reach out to me, or I don't know how. I think that is playing dumb. I don't know if that's harsh language to use, but I want to be a little bit realistic as we talk about these issues, right? Some people, I understand that our people are very scared to be, actively involved. Some prefer to be passively involved. Even then, if you want to be discreet about your involvement, we have many people. We have many people in the army. If I show you my inbox, I have, 30% of the people I went to school with. 30% is low, but maybe 30% of the people I went to school with, I went to Ntare School, which is Museveni's former school. Most of my OBs went to the army. And many of them are texting me saying, how can we help? So realistically, and this is, covert and all that, but realistically, there are people reaching out to us saying, how do I involve myself? So I become skeptic. And I start feeling like you're going to that David Luvura side of being so elite.
I'm very honest with you. This is my church, right? I pray from here. And until I came on this show, I had never got anywhere. I obviously I follow you guys, I see your activities, but because I haven't really been so much concerned with the activities, so that's why I asked on behalf of other people. But
which I understand.
Before we leave this topic, because since you oversee all the activities of the National Unity Platform or People Power in the diaspora.
Yes, sir.
I want you to talk about accountability. This is something I've been talking about with Sarah Joy and over and over and over and over. That with all these monies coming through, and I know you guys are going to give, the key factor that really should be the hope for change or the beacon for change for whoever is giving is to know that someone is going to be accountable with the money I'm giving. And by accountability, I mean people would like to know if I give in $10,000, how is it going to trickle down to the electoral campaigns? And if I send it to your phone, because again, this is your phone, is going to go to your cash app. So how can you speak to a Ugandan out there just to assure them that your money is going to be put to right use? We have these accountability measures in place. When money comes through, it goes through just give a clear run through how money comes and how it is eventually going to go up to Kampala.
In the diaspora,
the activities it's supporting,
In the diaspora, we have a finance team. We have a legal team. We have a communications team. These are people who are volunteering services. You see, anyway, let me answer your question. And those people are the ones who issue that. And I don't know if you have, actually, if you hear someone saying, I gave my money and it wasn't accounted for, that person has most likely never given a penny.
No, they won't say it. Some people are just skeptical by nature.
Yeah.
Very skeptical by nature.
And this is a good opportunity for me to reassure them and tell them that many of the activities, just a few, have been openly acknowledged by the principal on his Facebook page. We work so under this dictatorship, under the tyranny that we work under, I don't know who tipped off the security forces or Museveni's people that there was 23 million in the NUP offices. So me coming on Facebook and saying We have 50 million in Canada, 20 in Boston, 40 in... I don't know who I am telling this information,
No,
brother.
I don't want you to tell me.
So
I just want
you're putting me between a rock and a hard place.
Because the thing is, at the end of the day, these monies are going to come through. It could be $20 here. I could give 10, 50, 30. And you'll have monies. But just the accountability that we want is to know if money comes, it is going to go to Uganda. There's this chapter here, blah, blah, blah. Just like how people always do,
Right, and we have, like I said, most people, we encourage people to donate to their chapters, okay? And then we pull those resources together and then transmit them to Uganda. That's how we operate. And if you come to our weekly Boston meetings, you can ask all those questions and we can give you a brief about them. Especially most of the people who attend those meetings, I mean, Sarah Joy is one of them. They are aware and they are comfortable and they are reassured. So I encourage you and those who want to give the $10,000, the $1, we account for $1, we account for cents. It's crazy. So donate to your chapter, and then your chapter leader is the one who issues that accountability. If you donate on the Facebook page or on the website, sorry, not on the Facebook page, on the mobile money numbers and on the website, it is a little bit hard because, as you know, our movement employs only about 12 people. Only 12 people of the people doing work for People Power are paid salary, right? So most of the people in our movement are volunteers. So it's hard to, to give them more work. Our work is focused against the regime more. So it's hard to say that they will call you back and say, okay, we received this money. Especially if you donate to that wider platform. But if you donate locally to your chapter, then you can track and trace.
All right, thank you so much. I'll come back later to you, but just for a moment, I want you to be thinking about the amount. It's always good to have a figure in head to give people to understand that this is what we're looking at. This is our target, right? So then people can give knowing that if I'm giving $20, the target is $50,000 or $100,000, something like that. But I'll come back later to you.
All right.
Sarah Joy, let me come to you. Let's start with the issue of the posters that are being defaced in Kampala. Again, I totally don't understand. I saw a poster, I think a photo taken in Wandegea somewhere, where they had defaced almost a myriad of all the, People Power, Robert Chagulanyi's presidential posters that were, put there. We are just 2 days away, no, 1 day, I think 1 day away from the nomination, and that's on the 3rd. Do you feel pressure is mounting within the NRM that anyone is doing whatever they can to make sure, the candidate of Bobi Wine, maybe they try to throw in the last stone to see if it can be stopped? I mean, I don't understand it. But what does that make of you when you see all those posters being defaced at this point?
Defacing, posters is Bobi Wine as an individual is still there. So those are, when you're weak, you try to do all kinds of things, but at the end of the day, they are not helping. Because unless you deface the real Bobi Wine, but defacing posters, and who does not know Bobi Wine? He's been in the music industry for the last 20 years. So I don't think, defacing him now. He's not one of those candidates who need a lot of branding, a lot of, promoting.
Again, personally, he put money into that, that.
Yeah, but it is very absurd because you expect a country, when we talk of democracy and when you see, the other party, the other side preaching democracy, you would expect them doing better. But I think for me, what is really touching with what is happening, it is the police doing this. It is not any hired goons, hooligans.
Yeah.
It is the people who pay money, people who get salaries, who are consuming taxpayers' money, who are meant to keep law and order.
Yeah.
Again, breaking the law.
And when you mention police, we've seen police on record. In Chikubo.
Yes, even as we sit here, I was looking at some of the posters that were put up that were being carried away and put on the police trucks. But at the same time, we've seen the same police helping guys, NRM put up, people. I've seen the police helping the guys putting up posters of President Museveni. I think, there are things you can try to do as much as you want, but again, we must understand it's been 35 years.
But what does that mean to this election? Because, and in addition to what you're saying, we saw a video circulating this week.
This is not the first
a top
time.
military official saying that, I mean, again, I can't quote him verbatim, but it shows me the sound and the language that is still being used in the military, that people are looking at this government. The military is still looking at the government as a personal thing. Like
what is the military? The people you're talking about, the people who keep looking at Uganda as a personal property are the people who have gone to the bush. Have you seen how many new recruits, people who are just joined the army to get just because they want to put food on the table because it was the only job available? How many statements have you seen coming from them?
I mean,
the entitlement,
are silent.
the entitlement is coming from the people who went to the bush because they think they own Uganda. But we will help them and tell them that no one sent them to the bush for starters. We were not there as they went to the bush. Whatever they were fighting, we do not know because we were not there. Because you see the challenge these people have. They say, oh, Amin and Obote were bad. 85% of Ugandans never experienced, never lived in Amin's and Obote's regime. So we do not know. So who are you telling they were bad? You're telling the other bit of, the other bit of the population, and maybe they've also woken up and say, oh, I think the other guys did better than the current regime. So the biggest part of Uganda's population, it's hard for you to tell them Amin and Obote were bad because they've never lived in those regimes. All they know is the 35 years of President Museveni. Even if President Museveni came to power and found you when you're 4 years, you don't know anything. You don't know, 4 years, 3 years, you do not know anything of really what happened then. So 35 years in power, even someone who was born in 80, 79, they really do not know what exactly happened then because they were too young to put a recollection on everything. But it's a shame because the police officers they're using, it's funny, the guys who feel the entitlement are not the ones defacing. It is the ones who are earning less than $100 a month that have been that have been pushed to do this. You see, it is really absurd for me when I look at the police officers because they are not any different from from the normal Ugandans. They also live in despicable conditions. These are police officers we see every day, tear gassing, beating Ugandans. I was informed, I think it's Mbuya or Ginger police station, one of those, they've not had power for 2 months. And then I heard also in Zambia, they're having the same issue. They've not had power for a very long time. And I had a chance of visiting, before I left Uganda, I visited, that is Naguru Police Barracks. These people still sleep in inputs of which they share. Well, so I think the word I would use, police say no kwebereram. Because at the end of the day, as many Ugandans are craving and crying for change, the police is not any better. Because, and again, the biggest challenge President Museveni has, if he wanted to use the police for, if he really wanted to keep them tight in breaking the law, he would have paid them better. Or they would have been living in better conditions. But I don't see any difference between them and any other normal Ugandan who is suffering. So they need, but again, it would be very important for them to stay out of the politics of the country. Because at the end of the day...
That's where it was I was going to come in, that there is no way you can separate the police and say they shouldn't have... I mean, objectively, they should be able to say we are for the country.
Let me...
But they have failed to put that in picture.
And I don't know who will help them put that in mind, because
maybe
and I think the biggest, when you see violence in Kampala or in these other areas, 90% of the violence is caused by the police and the army. Because if people, either they are moving or escorting a candidate and they are not breaking into shops and not doing anything, why are you tear gassing them? Why are you beating them up? For starters, what are the posters of Kyagulanyi done to any of the...
I mean, again,
you mean Kyagulanyi being on a poster?
They're acting on instructions that they have. And this brings me to another question I would ask you. Maybe I'll first ask this one to Herman. Let's talk about, for example, the issue that has been going on also again in Uganda concerning the Red Berets. The government saying this is a military, they're actually saying you shouldn't be appearing on TV wearing a red beret, right? I mean, you're having one here. That still builds up to the pressure that is going on. Personally, I was one of the people that was very skeptical about Bobi Wine when he was coming into this race. I was like, really? This guy? just like I was skeptical about Joe Biden, but now you see towards the end, the pressure is building up. Do you feel that President Museveni has all of a sudden realized that, oh, I underestimated this guy. Now I feel how strong he is, you know, and maybe he's trying whatever he can. Do you see that somewhere? I mean, of course, for you are within, you know the party more, but do you feel the pressure is mounting on President Museveni?
Yeah, I think the pressure has always been there. I think we haven't had a coward of a president in such a long time like we have Museveni. I mean, you can't, think about all the things that are happening, right? Chibala Marcus, Beret. How can you arrest someone for putting on a red t-shirt? It shows the level of cowardice. They claim that berets are military attire. You see, you've had that statement, rule by law and not rule of law, right? Yeah. Everything they do is an attempt to legally curtail our efforts, to legally retain. That's why it is not necessarily people who are in, usual people who are paid to come and beat you up. They'll go put on military uniform and come and beat you up because the military has that authority to maybe maintain law and order. Even police, they beat you up or arrest you or torture you in a legal way, if that makes any sense. But I'm trying to explain this as best as I can, you see. So the issue with military berets, our challenge to them has been, put them on if they are your attire. If they are, if you claim that, military, I mean, when they raided the NUP offices and took the people power things that we use, the people power, simple things. We don't have any guns, we don't have any, They stole our money. I mean, where did the 23 million go? If you want accountability from people power, why don't you ask that accountability from the government? You see what I mean? So I think for me it is obvious. I don't know how to talk about these things without being surprised that you're asking them, because they are right in front of our eyes. I mean, you would be very, very unfair to the movement to say that, oh, you guys did this wrong, you guys did this wrong. There is a mountain of wrongs being done by the incumbent that people are not talking about. So we should not focus on the people who are trying to better our country. We should focus on the people who are wronging our country. And that's how we shall grow.
And I'm still building on that case. I'll come to you, I think, Sarah Joy. This week I saw a story. It was saying, I think it's from Mbarara, the civil servants in Mbarara district have been directed. They were directed by, it was Captain Retired Tumusime Bamtraki, I think, with the district chairperson, and the RDC Lieutenant Colonel James Mwesije. They told the civil servants during a budget conference this week, you must go and mobilize for President Museveni. And for those who don't support NRM in the forthcoming elections, they have been asked to either resign or they'll be sacked. I mean, this was in the Monitor.
Can I jump in?
Yes.
He asked me for an accountability side. And so I want to give him, he said, give us an idea of a budget. After hearing that story, I'll just build on it. I'll give you just a simple, sort of budget. Let's start with presidential MP aspirants, our candidates' nominations. People Power was able to nominate 238 candidates throughout the country. I don't know any political party that has mentioned their numbers, but I'm sure they don't reach up to that number. Each candidate needs 3 million shillings to nominate, right? And we were put on pressure by either other political parties to say, okay, we will try and avail, because we don't have resources. It's you and I actually, and Sarah Joy, who donate to this movement, right? It's not, there's no, there's no utopia. Our things are for halali. They are for real. You get? So 3 million times 200 candidates, that's 600 million shillings. If you want an idea of how much we need for this election, okay? Start from there and ask yourself, how much have you contributed to that?
3 trillion. You need what's it, 3 trillion or billion?
1.7 trillion.
Trillion,
is the rough campaign budget. But we always get things that come up. For instance, 200 people were arrested from People Power people who our lawyers are responsible for. And each was asked for 420 non-cash bail. You know what non-cash bail is in Uganda?
Yes.
Directly, if you put it bluntly,
diaspora.
it's a bribe.
Yeah.
400,000 per person. So multiply 400,000 shillings times 200 and see how much money is needed. And ask yourself, how much have you contributed to that if you're in the diaspora, for instance? Okay?
I mean, yeah.
For posters, let me go for the posters that are being torn down. We need as many posters as the number of votes that we are looking for. That's how our budget framework looks like. So in Uganda, there's about, 17, 19 million voters. Let's say we are looking for 15 million votes. So we need 15 million posters. Each poster is 1,000 shillings. 15,000 million shillings is what we need to print posters alone. Okay? So that's how big our budget is. Shall we meet that budget? That goes back to you. How much are you willing to contribute? So that is how we do our things. The reason why I jumped to that from your statement by that Mbarara officer is because many of our people, they have lost their jobs for putting on a beret. They have lost their jobs for talking about these things. I don't know if I would be, even yourself, I don't know if you would be comfortable asking these questions if it were in Uganda, because you most likely would stand loss of your job. So most of our people are unemployed. Most of our people have been, they've been persecuted, Our Secretary General recently was arrested after a studio like this. You're going home and people arrest you and they take you and your cameraman is beaten. You see? So all that frustration, it needs we need to provide for security, we need to provide for resources that give our comrades some sort of assurance in what we are doing.
I think adding on what Herman has said, I think for the first time in the political history of Uganda, it is the first time. I don't think there is any opposition leader that has gotten a massive support from Ugandans living abroad the same way Honorable Kyagulanyi has gotten. And I am telling you, usually you've seen opposition leaders barging in after, their businesses have been closed, after a number of things, they barge in and you see at the end of the day, they meet President Museveni, because of, they need to survive. I think it is not going to happen. Ugandans in the diaspora are 100% willing, and they've done a good job because basically I keep telling people, whatever you see, the financial muscle of what is happening in NOP is the people in the diaspora. So that's why I keep telling people, I see people sometimes on the ground say, oh, come back home. And then you say, so who is going to finance if I'm home? Because you need people on this side. The financial muscle of all the activities of what is happening in Kampala is the Ugandans in the diaspora. And we are so lucky that for the first time, Ugandans have allowed, because before Ugandans in the diaspora, they were living in comfort. I left Uganda, I live abroad, the problems of Uganda do not completely are for Ugandans. But I think after time, they've come to realize that the problems of Uganda followed them to wherever they are, because you're
the one who always talks about black tax.
Because wherever you are, just imagine COVID hit hard, and I have some of my sisters are teachers, and they are all unemployed since the shutdown.
And for teachers, actually.
Yes.
I want you to speak about civil servants in general. I'll give you an example. Mbarara is just a drop in the ocean. It's just an example where the RDC and this chairperson have come out openly.
It is the only one that came to the news.
Yes, and
but we have seen videos. If you
don't campaign for Museveni, you're going to lose your job.
But how are they going to campaign when it's us, their family members, taking care of them?
No, but that's the thing, because they're going to lose their jobs.
No, but already they've lost their jobs.
So for me, my worry is...
I'll give you an example. My sisters have not been paid since March.
I mean, by the time
they're not being paid. And I had to come up with alternative. I had to sit them down and say, okay, what else can we do right now as we're waiting? And I'm telling you, it's going to affect the education sector in Uganda, because you're going to find over 50% of the teachers are not going to return back to teaching, because they've already started alternative businesses. Some are into small scale. They are selling onions, they are selling tomatoes, and they're making money. When you look at what they earn a month through the stress they go through and how long the money keeps to come, and then the stress they get from all these students, they're saying, come on, I make more money here with less stress. Let me keep to that. So you're going to have so many teachers not returning to their jobs. But at the same time, again, going back to what I was saying, that for the first time, we are lucky that the diaspora is part of the struggle, and they're helping. Just like Haman said, you have so many comrades. And what we've done is we've not abandoned our own. So many comrades that are in jail, there are so many lawyers. So many lawyers that are doing pro bono. But even those who are doing pro bono, when it comes to the cash bail, they're not going to get from their pocket. They need money. So definitely the head of the diaspora has to send money for... The last time I know the amount they sent just for bail, and I'm like, oh my God. So we are lucky that the diaspora is part of this, and it is really the big financial muscle to push this, because we are dealing with people who have lots of money and the taxpayers' money. And on top of taxpayers' money, they are borrowing left and right. I was reading the papers the other day that it's going to take 95 years to clear the debt Uganda has accumulated within the time of President Museveni. So if it needs 95 years, we will be dead, and maybe our children will be there, or they will be dead. So it's going to take a long time. But if you ask the debts we are accumulating and the money we are still borrowing, what is it doing? It's doing nothing. But again, I'll go back. I saw the interview of Honorable Chagulanyi recently on Baba TV. He did it, I think, either on Friday or Thursday. And if Ugandans didn't watch that interview, it was very important, and you should go back and watch it. He was being asked a number of questions and say, oh, what if the Electoral Commission does this? Oh, what if the police does this? And he was very clear that whatever is happening in Uganda has nothing to do with the police. Uganda has 50,000 plus police officers only. I don't know how many there in the army, but I don't think we have over 100,000 people in the army. Let's put together the police force in Uganda, army, ISO, blah, blah, all together. Let's say there are 100,000. You're 42 million people. And let me put them together, police, army. If there are 100, let's say 100,000, I can assure you, it is not even, if it's max, maybe 5% of the 100,000 are comfortable. Those are the generals you see that have riches. Those are the people who have the capacity to say, oh, you're not going to destabilize this country, because they're comfortable. They've benefited from this thing. 95% of the police officers and army officers, they're not any different from the Ugandans they're oppressing. So I mean, at the end of the day,
back to what you said
it is going to take the power. It is going to take Ugandans, one, coming out and voting in huge numbers. If you have a block vote, and we have a block vote, we have, one on almost every any polling station. I'll tell you, the SC will not.
My only question.
SC will not announce the
results. And I'll ask it again and again until we have an election in Uganda. What is in place that will stop this government from rigging this election? Like, what is there
in place?
And I'll hear from you both, because we've had generals tell us how elections were rigged, how Besigye won twice and he was rigged, and they give you exactly empirical evidence that we had this parallel tallying center here. This time around,
I think what
is in place this time?
What happened the other time, and what Ugandans have to do to safeguard this election, is voting in huge numbers. Because if
We
you
have
go back,
three- go on.
you go back to the previous elections, what were the number of, how many Ugandans cast their votes? What were the number of votes casted compared to the Ugandans that were registered to vote? You should look at that as well.
I mean, there were cases where you found that there were more people than the votes, or there were less people than
No,
the votes.
Ugandans, most of them, for the first time, I voted for the first time in 2016. That was my first time to vote. But I could have even have voted prior to that. But I didn't. And I know so many...
So it is hard to rig when the vote is huge.
You cannot rig a block vote. Let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's say Ugandans come out in big numbers and vote, and vote. And you have 80% of the vote is opposition. Now you leave the trouble to the Electoral Commission. Either they have one or two options to either interfere with the number of votes, but they will have a problem because they will end up with more votes casted more than the number of people supposed to vote. Because if they come out and say 12 million Ugandans are the registered voters, and then you have now 14 million Ugandans voted out of the 12 million, there will be a lot of explaining to do.
Let me also hear from
they are dealing with the regime, they are dealing with the population, they are dealing with Ugandans who are smart, Ugandans who are computer savvy, Ugandans who are sharp. You're not going to cheat them through just the computer. They will be telling. So at the end of the day, where Ugandans feel we've been cheated, again, it's going to take Ugandans. Because I'm telling you, all the countries where you've had Ugandans, people rising up, it wasn't the army, it wasn't the police, it wasn't the president. It was people who were tired. It was the masses who said enough is enough. Because let's say...
That is what we haven't seen.
I've not had a chance. I don't know if President Museveni has come up with a manifesto yet. But I can assure you, if you look at President Museveni's manifesto, it's not any different from what he said 15 years ago.
No,
it is the same.
I mean, we know, honestly, let's just be honest.
We know
there is nothing new that Mr. Museveni has to offer.
And we know very well,
my only
in
worry,
the next 5 years, President Museveni is not going to do anything.
My only worry is...
He's going to make Uganda more poorer than how it is now.
Haman, what is in place this time around that will stop this government from rigging this election if they want to rig it? Like, what do you feel is the infrastructure that is available? Because again, my worry is with the SOPs that have been brought in place, it has been categorically said that after you're voting, go back to your house. And Sarah Joy, before we've been talking about it, was saying, people have to stay there. People have to stay there and build up pressure until the votes have been counted. But what do you feel, or do you think is going to stop this government from rigging this election if they want to rig it?
I am going to ask the producer of this show to manage his search for elites.
No, because my worry
but
is
I hear your question.
Anything.
I understand your sense of insecurity, and what you need is some form of reassurance. We have an infrastructure, but before I go into that infrastructure, I worry that I might give too much away. You see?
No, I mean, again, people are looking up to you to hear what you're saying.
Right, right. But I'll tell you the three pillars of the People Power Movement and the National Unity Platform: the Almighty, the law, and the people. Those are the three pillars of the People Power Movement. Those are the things we back on. Did you hear money? Did you hear guns? Did you hear the ballot? It is the Almighty, the law, and the people. The people include civil servants. They include security forces. They include omuntu wa wansi, the locals. And those are our biggest base. And that is why the movement is called the People Power Movement. Okay? Reassurance for an election. You see, for instance, like I said, going back to the fundraising issue, if you hear someone saying asking for accountability and saying, where is the money people are giving? That person has probably never given.
Sure.
When I hear you saying, what is going to happen after we vote, I know that you most likely won't what?
Vote.
Won't vote. But I want to encourage you that if you vote, if anyone who's watching, I don't know which camera I'm looking, but if anyone who's watching votes, we are going to take these guys by hook or crook. We have programs that are running that I might not be comfortable sharing on air, but we are giving ourselves, I am also an elite, I won't lie, but I am practical in my approach to elitism. So I also like places where I feel that sense of assurance. I want, you know, I am a person like you, I am a logical human being, and my support for people power is not random. It is not out of excitement or anything. We are working day and night to have those reassurances in place so that for us, our work has been, first of all, you see, this job is not easy. We first of all have to convince you to vote. As we do that, we work on a plan to ensure that that vote is legitimized, it counts, okay? Now, just please do your part, okay? Do your part and be confident while you're doing your part and encourage other people to participate. Do not be demoralized by seeing Kyagulanyi's posters torn down. Do not be demoralized by seeing people raiding NUP offices, because that is the intent of the regime. We lost over 50 candidates because of the Chibalama case. Most of our candidates came as independents because they were demoralized, saying NUP is not. And that is, as soon as you start to be demoralized by this nonsense of the regime, he is winning. Okay? Be confident in your thought process that my vote counts, I am a Ugandan, and I deserve to have a say in my vote. Now then, and then allow us, give us an opportunity during this election at least to do our part in making sure that this change that we seek comes in. Vote and stay there to count the election. We have plans for tallying. We have plans for transmitting the information, whether internet is on or off. So don't be, the other day, you see, comrade, the president, our incoming president, Mr. Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, was one of the people who were last whose signatures were last to be approved. And we were in a meeting the other day with the diaspora. It was the Boston team. I don't know if you, I think you were on that meeting.
Tuesday?
Tuesday, yeah. And someone was asking, now they haven't cleared these signatures yet. What are we going to do? And we spent 30 minutes on that issue. And then the following day they were cleared. So the regime intends to demoralize us with bringing this, oh, we've never seen this happen. Oh, this is so new. Oh, this is overwhelming. No. Democracies operate a certain way. Yes, we agree we are not generally in a democracy, but our tyrant hides under the guise of democracy to oppress our people, to siphon funds, to siphon resources, to misuse our God-given resources and our God-given opportunities, and to keep us behind the other countries like Rwanda, Kenya, Tanzania. We should be admiring these countries. You can't have a country like Uganda and you go to Congo to build roads. You see, you can't have a country like Uganda and the military forces are campaigning for the incumbent who has been in power for 35 years. This is absurd. I mean, if you're not thinking, I think our focus should be about these things that are pertinent to us, as opposed to worrying about, what are they going to do next?
No, the reason why I asked you that is because it worries me to see that we still have a personalized military and a police force at a time when we think everyone should be pushing towards change. As I told you, I represent a generation of youth that have never seen any other president. But there are other youth still in my category who are still standing up and showing that there is no need for change. That's why I get worried.
The youth?
Yeah, there's so many youth.
But I'll tell you one thing. I think, again, as a population, And as a young generation that are a little bit well-informed, exposed, Ugandans should know Gaddafi had a personalized army. I don't know if people, Gaddafi used to move, you know, when Gaddafi, I think for the 2 times he came to Uganda, he came with his own entourage of army.
And they would have fights with the Ugandan army trying to take
basically, Ugandan, you know, army was not allowed, or security was not allowed to take off. I came with his own security chiefs and all that and all that. If he was going to stay in a hotel, all the chiefs, you know, would go and leave, and his own, where's Gaddafi right now? And Mugabe had personalized the army. Bashir had personalized the army. The guy of Egypt, all these dictators that have been taken down had personalized the army. Look at what happened in Mali. The young boy, 25 years, who took down the dictator, he had also personalized the army. So, you know, what we are talking about is not far-fetched, that it has not happened. We just have to be confident and pick up examples from what has happened. You mean, these are all African countries. You won't say, oh, no, that happened in Europe, in USA, you know, they are different. These are African countries. We share the same problems. We have the same type of dictators who think, you know, they own. And when you see how they run their countries, they run it as personal properties. But they've been brought down. The other time, someone shared a picture on social media of about 11 dictators being lined up, and there are 2 left, Museveni inclusive. I am telling you, if the others are gone, Museveni will go. Museveni's time is up. It doesn't, I'm telling you, it does. I'll just give an example. Let me just throw it in. 2 or 3 months ago, was it maybe, I don't know if it was before COVID, maybe, you saw Shaban Bantariza making statements how he has guns, and you know, Bobby Wine, he has 3 guns. But I heard he died of COVID, and I was asking myself, with the 3 guns he failed to shoot COVID down, then COVID must be serious. A guy with 3 guns fully, no, he had 3 guns, and I believe the chambers were really having full with bullets. He could not shoot COVID down.
No, but these are people who are benefiting from the government.
No, but that is the arrogance.
For me, the worry is we still have many of the kind.
No, the many.
Are speaking with arrogance because they are still benefiting.
But many of the kind should look at their fallen, you know, the many of the kind need to look at those that have fallen and see the legacy they've left behind. Did the public mourn Shaban Bantariza?
I mean, they couldn't.
You should have, no, you should have watched, you know, because if you want to see, sometimes social media is a representation of what is in people's mind, because on social media, people are free to speak out. And I've been bashed at not respecting the dead. But I'm like, if they never respected themselves when they are living, why should I respect them when they are dead? I'll tell you one thing. Shaban Bantariza spoke with a lot of arrogance. These are the guys who make you feel they own Uganda, or we fought, or we are going to go back to the bush. I am telling you, he has been taken to the bush. That's where he wanted to go. He has returned to the bush. And I am telling you, he can fight as much as he wants for the rest of his life. But the arrogance of telling Ugandans, oh, I have my 3 guns in the car. You're talking to people who have never seen, who do not know why you went to the bush. You're talking to people we do not know why Museveni disagreed to go to the bush. Because if it was democracy, and he said an election was rigged, how many times has he rigged an election from Dr. Besigye, and Dr. Besigye has opted not to go to the bush? So they cannot tell us that nonsense, that we went to the bush, or I have my 3 guns. COVID could not spare. I expected him to pick up his guns, fire at COVID with 1 gun.
The man is dead. So
no, I'm telling you, because if you do not respect as a senior police arm officer, a man who went to the bush, you do not, at this point in time, when many Ugandans are craving for change, you do not start coming out to threaten us with words, oh, I have the gun. People are dying of anger, and you're talking of guns. People are buying fuel and burning themselves. Do you know what it means for a 26-year-old to go and buy petrol and burn themselves at 26 years? Do you know the dreams you have?
I mean,
the dreams are so huge.
Lost hope.
So people have lost hope, and you're telling us of your 3 guns, and you expect us because you're dead, because the culture says you have to respect the dead. We will not spare you. We will speak the truth, because I know the culture, African culture, say you respect the dead, but you're not going to stop us from saying the truth. We will come out and say you had 3 guns. What happened? They should have shot whatever COVID. But why have people lost morals to that extent of not respecting the dead? That should be the question. Why have people lost morality to an extent? When we were growing up, even a man who was a rapist, even a man we knew that was so bad, only good things were said about this person when they die. Why has the population, why have Ugandans lost morals that when the person dies, they'll say exactly what killed you? People used to die of HIV before, but they used to say he died of malaria, he died of high blood pressure. Right now, if you die of HIV, people will say you died of HIV, and they'll mention everyone you've killed with no mercy. So why have Ugandans lost morality that they call out the dead? It is because of the way these men who feel entitled. I was telling someone, if President Museveni has been in power for 35 years, if he wants to see how much Ugandans love or hate him, let him hide away just for 1 hour and let them announce President Museveni has got a heart attack and died. He will be shocked at the celebrations that are going to take place. Even his own. Even Museveni's own.
Let me come to you.
Even Museveni's own. He will be shocked. Let them just pretend he's dead. He will be shocked even his own are going to bring out, the drums and start drumming. I
know that President Museveni knows for sure.
Why would
this should be a surprise to him. That
why would you?
Want him to leave
that is as many as the others that are working with him. But why would you?
Us hostage.
Why would you? I'll give you let me finish up this. There's about 3 weeks ago. There's another guy who died, Ronnie Nabasa. Ronnie Nabasa was the People Power Coordinator in Western Uganda, in Ankole. What did Ronnie do? Ronnie got all the structures that had been put up with our ad money, because when you're given a coordinator of a region, you're not getting money from your own pockets. It's us who are contributing money that is sent down, and they give you money to run the activities. He sold these structures to President Museveni at 300 million. Ronnie was given 300 million. The only thing I liked about him, he never came out to abuse Bobby Wine. He got a car. It is the same car he got from taxpayers' money that killed him in Rueda. Finished. All I saw left were tires of that car. You couldn't even believe there was a car. There was a body of that car. But how do you, on social media?
Is that the God he spoke about?
No. But I'm telling you what happened on social media. On social media, Ronnie, in fact, one of his friends was defending him, but on social media, everyone, I didn't know Ronnie was a Mufere. Everyone Ronnie had robbed came out. Instead of, I really understand the friend was trying to defend him, be a good friend, defend the dead, or even if my friend was a Mufere. But Ronnie, people came out, and they were speaking ill of Ronnie. I'm very sure his body was turning, his spirit was turning upside down. They couldn't believe. But Uganda has gotten that level of losing morality to that extent, because I am telling you, Ugandans are in pain, and it is going to take a leader who really is willing to serve the people to rehabilitate. Ugandans need rehabilitation because people are so frustrated.
Robert,
before, let me tell you one thing.
Let
me finish up with this. Let me finish up with this.
In 20 seconds, yes.
Let me finish up with this. Before, when we went through school, I remember when I did my bachelor's, I didn't do a graduation party because my mom was insisting, no, we need to do it. I said, I'll do it at my master's. When I did my master's, she said, we need to do it because now, on our village, you are among the few with the masters, because people are graduating with degrees now. A master's was, a big achievement than the rest, getting degrees. So my mom, I had even to take off my gown and give it to her because it was as if she was the one graduating, more than me who had gone through the books. But right now, even with the degree is useless. You see people, I keep pushing my cousins, my nieces through school, but I see I'm pushing them because they've already lost hope. They are seeing 5 others already seated at home, no jobs, and I'm telling them to go to school. What's the purpose? But before we used to, you had fun going to school because you wanted to wear that gown. You knew maybe after that you would get a job. It was exciting. Now there's nothing about education, because at the end of the day, if you you laughed at someone who stopped at senior 6 and became a border rider, you went through university, you got your degree, you come back and start riding border. So what's the difference than this guy who never went to university? You're almost the same. And maybe his life has been improved because through border maybe he got a plot of land and built a house for you starting from zero. So Ugandans have been reduced to that, and it's so absurd.
Haman.
Yes, sir.
Ugandans, I am so sure Ugandans are overwhelmingly going to vote. My only worry that you still say is because I don't think I'm an enemy or anything. What are your reservations about the Electoral Commission? Because for me, that is going to be the key determinant. Because we have failed to get an electoral commission that can announce itself. It has been on record twice. At least we can confirm it has been on record twice. Two generals have come out and said these elections were doctored and were changed. What are your reservations as the diaspora coordinator for People Power or NUP? What are your key reservations about elections as we go into this and as we go into this exercise? And yes, just let me know, and I'll ask you something else.
Yeah, there are many reservations about the Electoral Commission. We know the tyrant, Museveni, is privileged with the ability to appoint and disappoint as he wishes. And of course, there's always conflict of interest and many other things. However, at times we've also seen that people wake up to the realities surrounding them and they choose to side with the truth. And so it is a give or take. Most of those questions would be seen. You see, a president always says, the incoming president, Honorable Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, always says, we shall judge people by their actions. So I guess their actions can speak for them. So far we've been frustrated here and there, but we have an objective that we are looking at, and our eyes are focused on that. It is peaceful transition of power, and they are privileged with the opportunity to either establish that, because it will be, imagine the Electoral Commission after elections comes out and genuinely announces the actual winner of the election. Okay,
that is my prayer.
I know for 35 years, for 5 elections or so, you know, people like me and you in our age bracket are used to, you know, a one-sided election. But imagine the privilege that our Electoral Commission, imagine the honor, imagine the respect that they will earn from that. So we hope, you see that beautiful imagination, we imagine that beautifully as well. We are a positive movement, so you know, we hope that they see the beauty in that and maybe hopefully come through to it. However, you're contradicting yourself, my brother, in 2 ways. Initially, you posed a question saying that many people are saying that, you know, there can't be, you know, there are many people who are against, who are not sure about Kyagulanyi. Or
yeah,
something
I mean,
like
no,
that.
I said at
people
the
who are speaking like
I was
Shaban.
very skeptical at the beginning myself when Bobby Wine, you know, declared his candidature. But in the build-up, I saw how it built momentum and to see all the panic that is going on. But you're speaking about what, Shaban?
Yes, yes. There are very many people who might speak about, you know, Kyagulanyi in that sense, but also. But those are the people, those are the few, realistically, those are the few. The only difference between them and us is that they have the media opportunities to say this rubbish. The likes of Fono Pondo, Andrew Mwenda, these are people that the community listens to, and these are the people that we have grown up listening to. So it's been challenging for us to take their place, sort of. Because those are the people those are the common loud names. But in actual sense, I'm glad you also said, this is where you contradicted yourself. You said, we know that many people are going to come out to vote. And there is a lot of support for People Power and NUP. I commend you for confirming that. So that is where we stand generally, but we are very hopeful and we are doing everything in our power, and we encourage Ugandans to please join us to regain that hope, regain that sense of confidence, not only in the leaders, but in yourselves, that you have a contribution to make to the betterment of Uganda.
And as we come to the end of the show, we're nearly done. As the diaspora coordinator power movement, People Power, what is the movement? People Power.
It's a movement.
Yeah, it's a movement.
Yeah.
as part of your parting remarks, I would like you to, you know, give us again a picture of concerning fundraising, because I know that's very key for this campaign and this election. People, how much are you expecting for an individual if they want to give? You know, is there a limit? You're saying don't go beyond $10 if you give, or $5, or they can give as little as they have. Is it only electronic, or you can even write a mail? They can write a check and send,
write a check and send it. Yeah, we are being very fluid, because you see, when you pour a fluid, it reaches every corner. Ours is a mobilization campaign. Okay, so we are tasked with reaching out to people as much as we can. So all those means of transacting, the obvious ones are electronic for the people in the diaspora. But we are also moving the moda ku moda, our safe at the secretariat. If you want to donate, you go and drop your lukumi, drop your muda, okay? Drop whatever you can in there. We are not only taking financial resource. People are giving us houses up country. People are donating their cars for the 3 months. People are donating pens. People are donating paper. People want to see this movement succeed. And many people, I appreciate the many people who have taken action to do that. So for donations, I would encourage you, closely follow Comrade and the next president of Uganda, Bobby Wine. His Facebook page is Bobby Wine. There will be constant posts, and scroll down a few, you'll see how to donate for the various chapters. Go to our website, peoplepower.org.ug, and you'll see how to donate. There's a donate button, it's the first thing that comes. Go to the official NUP page. It is National Unity Platform, it's the official page. I know there's a few, but on Facebook there's an official page. And you scroll through a few posts, you'll see how to donate. In every community, I know there is someone who is doing this work. Some who are official, some are non-official. So do whatever you can. Do whatever you can, wherever you can, to the best of your ability to contribute to this movement, because this is your movement. This is a people's movement. All right. And did you give us a figure of how much you do? Yes, I wanted to give a sketch, but our figure is, it changes depending on the struggle, on the intensity and the weight that is bad on us by the incumbent. Right now we are at 1.7 trillion. Trillion shillings is our hope. That's like how much in dollars? It's like I have. Is that for just diaspora? That's your target for the diaspora, or for even Uganda? For the entire campaign. Okay. If we can get 1.7 trillion, it might be a start. Okay. But for instance, for posters alone, if the diaspora said we want to give posters, we have. Let me give you the numbers. Okay, we have 30 diaspora chapters. Okay, and let's say we wanted 12 million posters, because I said that number of posters needs to be equivalent to the number of votes that we are looking for. Let me go to 15 million. 15 million votes is what we are looking for, so we need 15 million posters, right? If you divide 15 million by 30, you get about 500,000, right? Mm-hmm. So you get 50. It's 15 million by 30. 15 million by 30, that's about 50,000. Totia, it's 500,000. 50,000. No, it's 500,000 times 30. But at least the picture, the rough estimate that you have is the trillion, right? So yeah, it's 1.7 trillion. So if someone is giving $20, they should know I'm giving 20 of how much is expected. That's why I wanted to. They can know. Yeah, I wanted to break it down and take it locally to chapters. I should have done this math prior. But 15 million divided by 30, I am good at math. By the way, you don't. I did telecommunications engineering. I'm only in the US because I failed to get a job. Yeah, but while I was in school, people used to tell me you'll get a job, But anyway, leaving that aside, 15 let me say, 15 million divided by 30 chapters, 500,000 posters. Each poster is 1,000. So each chapter, if we were to speak to posters alone, each chapter would be tasked to give 500 million shillings.
Ah, okay.
For just posters.
Posters only.
So when you're donating your $20 and you want it to go to posters, remember that the load for your chapter is 500 million shillings. So it's our budget is huge, and we encourage people to give anything they can. If you want me to set a minimum, I'll say $1,000 per person. If it is up to me. But we are open to the fact that people are struggling, families at home, people in the diaspora are the ones supporting families at home. So, we are, as they do that, we encourage them to remind them to vote. That's one way, and also contribute here and there where they can to the movement.
But thank you. And before I go to conclude with Joy, if people want to get also the red berets, they can still get them in their chapters, right?
In their chapters. If you reach out to your chapter leader, he should be able to at least promise you a way of getting it, mail it to you, wherever you are. And even though you don't have a chapter yet, please reach out to that phone number, +1 857 719 4451, and we'll see how to reach you in terms of attire and the like. And an NUP card, by the way.
Ah, okay. Sarah Joy, any parting remarks for Ronald Mayinja?
I've read, I don't know whether he posted that. There's something I read somewhere where he said, oh, I went to Bobby Wine. Bobby Wine refused to give me, when you go to Bobby Wine and ask him.
You didn't give him audience. So
no, he said they went to Bobby Wine, and Bobby Wine does not give money. When you go to him and tell him your problems, they will say you work. And I'm asking myself, Bobby Wine started working before Bobby Wine was born. And I'm like, these men, they have no shame. Because Manja started singing literally when Bobby Wine was school, not knowing that he will once become a star. But again, I've seen so many musicians blaming Bobby Wine for spoiling the music industry. But Bobby Wine is not the first musician to join politics, or they're not the first artist. You've had the likes of Katolu Wama, you've had Judith Babie joining politics. But the musicians should be able to blame themselves for not having a muscle or a backbone. Because what these people are forgetting, a person, there are people, I'll give a person, I say, okay, I don't really care. For a person like Mayinja, he started singing songs of revolution before even Bobby Wine thought of joining politics. He started, Africa, all those songs. For him, at this point in time, he's a flip-flopper to come out, the first time. They should thank Bobby Wine, because without all these people are getting money, basically their source of income is, if it wasn't for Bobby Wine, they would be so broke. Basically, they should do, he's a business. He's a business for any person who wants to get money. So I believe the first time he did not get money because he sold most of his stuff, and he had to go, and claim he has joined NUP, so he used that as a trap again to go in and get money. But I'm not disturbed with the likes of Mayinja, because Mayinja himself, I put up a post and I said, sometimes it's good to have a dream, have a vision, and have focus. Mayinja went back to school because he wanted to join politics. Mayinja indeed went back to school and graduated. After graduation, even with these political commissions, because he had started, he has been windhawked by Museveni. Let's say he was given 300 million. When you join parliament, you're given their salary is about 25 million. If you multiply that by a year, 12 months, that's about 300 million already.
He must have got more than that.
No. He doesn't give. Who is Mayinja to get more than that?
But anyway, for me,
what I want you to add on is when you join parliament.
You overestimate this guy. Sarah, let me say something small. You know how many people have been promised money by Museveni and they get less than 1% of what they were promised?
Because there are so many blockers involved in that money. No, there are so many people there are so many blockers. But what I will tell you about Mayinja is when you join parliament, I'm told they're given cars worth 200 or 100 million. There are so many opportunities. When you join parliament, you get a diplomatic passport, they get medical insurance. And I'm wondering, an old man who had a dream and a vision of serving his people, how he was windhoeked into a deal that is, because again, you know, Mainja could still be in parliament.
He will never listen to his old music again.
No,
so.
Mainja
Anyway,
would still be in parliament
close now,
and serve his people, because just ask yourself, a few months left to 2020 and until elections. You know, after musicians were burnt out with Tubonga Nawe, to an extent they failed to get booked for the shows and promoters, you know, could not help them. What is Mainja going to tell Ugandans after? You know, that's why I'm telling you.
That is the question he himself can't answer.
Right.
So
I really want to thank you guys for coming.
People need to look beyond, you know, beyond the election period. I don't know how broke he was. But he had already, you know.
I hope they won't give you $1 million and we don't see you on the show again.
No, he cannot. You know, let me tell you one thing.
They will buy $1 million
As
disappear.
If they have it.
If
they have so many people to give
they have money to waste.
No, they do not.
If they can get a man like Haman and Sarah Joy and they're able to silence you in diaspora.
And I'm going to say it on this
work.
show. President Museveni is the biggest mufele. If up to this time, have you heard stories from the people of Luwero? Have you got a chance to interact with them?
They have never got any, much.
The people,
we don't learn.
The people in
Luwero
Luwero who gave away their cassava, who gave away their goats, their cows, hoping when this guy become president, he's gonna, you know, make their lives better. You know, chase a herd of cows and give to them. Converge, because these people are not so many. After 35 years, he has never compensated them. So, you know, you expect better when the people who really guided him through, you know, his bush war have never been compensated. You must be having a problem.
I mean, for me, my biggest worry, and as we close, is that when I see an old man selling his conscience for money. I mean, I am a musician. I've been producing music for Revolution, and I have not one but 2 or 3. I've even won a part of Africa Music Award.
Traveled all over the world.
And I've sung about
and you know, let me tell you one thing.
And then tomorrow I sell my
You mean, and I was asking someone.
If you, a young man, can get embarrassed by that.
I mean,
no, you know, I was asking myself.
So
for the years, okay, let's say they gave him 300 million. For the years Mainja's been singing, you mean he has never made 300 million?
No, I mean, I think he was in a fix this time around. And you people
don't justify madness.
He's not alone. Look at this other man, this other jobless man. Look at this other jobless man, Basaja Mivule. He lost his integrity. He lost his integrity. He went and started standing on people's farms claiming they belong to him. Recently, now he has come up with a new video attacking President Museveni. And I called someone and I say, he's looking for money. You know, because he has failed to get it, now he's looking. But
thank you so much, Sarah Joy and Haman. Thank you very much. I hope the message has been clear. You could just,
I just want to, before I know you're out of time. I always work with my brother, Kapalaga Baby, Michael Kakande. I want to send shout out, you know, say hello to him and send him greetings. He always said before, Uganda's main cash crop was coffee, cotton. Now he says, which is evidently true, the main cash crop of Uganda, all the rich people, they are getting rich from deals. He says it in Uganda. Cash crop ya Uganda, deal. Bobato kubya deal, you will not be wealthy.
I think let me make it even sound better. The cash crop of Uganda is Bobby Wine right now.
Also that.
No, because he's broken in people and helping them.
No, anyone who wants to make money mention his name, you're rich.
So I hope Sarah Joy and Haman, you're not going to be the next targets. But
the next, no,
thank you so very much, everyone who's watching.
Let me give you a scripture.
I hope
a scripture in Psalm 66:12. It says, "You let men ride over our heads. We went through the fire and through the water. Yet you have brought us out of a place of abundance." No matter what is happening right now, no matter the toil and the struggle that we are pushing for, ultimately we shall overcome. And we are hopeful, and we encourage Ugandans to join the struggle and also kwebereramu. Don't look at Mainja, don't look at Basaja Mivule. When you open that curtain out of your house, look around and see the sense of insecurity, financial investment, job, employment, all that kind of insecurity, and choose wisely and be a part of the people who want to change that and redeem Uganda. Thank you, sir, for this opportunity.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, everyone who was watching. We hope next week we shall be again with you. Remember, this is the time that we as a nation, as people, must rise up together and say, if it is time for change, it is time for change. Someone once said there is nothing as powerful as an idea whose time has come. This is the time for change, and I hope that we shall not sell our conscience for little pennies to sell our own country. Thank you very much. My name has been Moses, and with everyone else here, catch us again next week.